What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So as y'all know, today is indeed Wednesday, which means a new summit is now live here in Motorfest. For this week, we are going to have the Island Delights, which is going to bring us the Tiki Tire. And yes, before you say it, this is going to be the old tire from the Crew 2, so it's not new, which honestly at this point really does not surprise me that much. We're then going to have the Bentley in gold, where I have 150,000 in silver, then 100,000 XP in bronze there. We are then going to have the Lunar Rose, which is going to be the Noble M600, which is going to be the same vehicle with a livery kit on it. I admit this thing does look pretty dang cool. I don't know if a lot of players are going to go after it because I'm not sure if the car is going to be good, but we will end up finding out. We're then going to have the Lunar Year Underglow 200 grand and then a useless 5,000 spare parts after that. But besides that, guys, let's jump right into this summit here. So we're going to have 2 slaloms and an escape for these skills. Luckily, these are going to be incredibly easy to do. And the funny part is all you basically need is going to be a score breaker set. You can use any class of your liking on it. I have been using a motocross bike. You can use a supercar or hypercar if you want. Alpha GP, street car racing, whatever you do feel like using. I'm basically either one of these. Funny part is, guys, running a bike every single week, I'm always getting a maxed out score, so you do not have to use something like an Alpha GP on it. The next thing, though, is going to be an escape, and for this one, you are going to start off in the water, but the kicker, though, is you do not want to use a boat. No, you want to jump into a plane. Have your favorite hypercar as your main favorited vehicle. That way you can switch to it as soon as you fly over the trees and then go toward the road. Besides that, you basically follow that as far as you guys can go. I would recommend following my route. Funny part is it was not going to be the most perfect route. 8,500 yards on it is going to be 157,000 points. Best part is I would say you do not have to have around like 15,000 yards or something. As long as you guys are probably getting well over 8, you should have a decent score in this and most likely get well over 150k. Funny part is I'm actually going to say, guys, by zooming down on this, check this out here. I'm going to keep going down on the player count here. Look at this. 7,000 points or 7,000 yards is still 157,000 points. So yeah, you could probably get legit around 6,500. Let me see. Let me see. Go down, go down. Yeah, look at that. 6,500 yards or so, 157,000 points. So the escape should be pretty dang simple to do this week. The biggest issue is probably going to be the traffic. Besides that, though, every single event is going to be in a hypercar, which is probably not that surprising. Am I right? I mean, that's most of the time in every single summit. For the top event here, though, you will have to use the Zenvo, guys. I wouldn't say the vehicle is terrible, but it is going to be a tad wonky. The car can slide out a bit, so do be careful with this vehicle if it is going to be stock, which it obviously is. You're also then going to have to use the same car here in the Maui Coast event. For this one, I did end up, of course, using my car stock like the other one. So yeah, my car basically decided to slide a bit, but overall, though, the Zenvo is still going to be fairly drivable. The big thing, though, is making sure you guys are taking those corners at the right angle, and also on top of that, being careful around them. Like, don't go too quick, and also sometimes if you do, you could fly off the road. Ask me how I know. But besides that, though, the next event is going to be the Maui Highway. So for this, you have to use a hypercar in the European category. I'm going to guess right now and say the #1 vehicle you're probably going to see is the Koenigsegg and the Bugatti Cendodici, which I can say those cars are great, so I wouldn't doubt it. But I would recommend, guys, trying out the Porsche 919 Street. I love this thing. Funny part is I did end up using this in the other event, which is the Oahu car meet, and I would say this is going to be no restriction. So again, the Bugatti is probably a great option. But you know what, man? With no pro settings whatsoever, the Porsche is honestly really good. Not only is the 919 going to handle incredibly good, but on top of that, it's also really quick. It is going to hit 300 miles an hour, so on the highway event, it is going to be really good, guys. I would recommend trying it out. Don't get me wrong, I do know the Bugatti is good, but I feel like the 919 is a bit slept on. This car really is going to be great overall. It handles good, and the overall speed on this thing is going to be very close to the Bugatti. Besides that, we're then going to have a hypercar, which is going to be Italy-based. For this, I did end up picking the Lamborghini Countach. Is it the best option? Well, to be honest, I'm going to say no on that. I think the Lamborghini Revolto is better, and the Ferrari F8 Spyder is most likely a better option as well. But y'all know me by now. I like picking vehicles that probably don't make a lot of sense. You don't really see them that much. And I also love picking an odd vehicle not having any pro settings on it, which is most likely going to make me turn slower. I'm also going to be a tad slower in areas, but I'm like, you know what? Let's have some fun. Let's make these summits more entertaining. So I would recommend trying something out like the Countach, but if you're looking for the best option, the F8 Spyder and the Revolto is probably going to be the cars you might end up wanting to look at for this one. And also, the last thing I do want to mention, by the way, is the Oahu Coast is going to be a 5-minute event. So do keep that in mind when you guys are running that race. But the last one is going to be the Oahu Cities in the lovely Ferrari F8 Spyder. This one is going to be shorter, being under 3 minutes, which is a great thing. And I would say right now the Ferrari F8 is not going to be a bad car in any way possible. Even running base pro settings, it might turn a tad less, or I guess you could say it's going to slide a bit more in certain places, but even then I did find the Ferrari to be very stable. It's going to be quick. The overall acceleration on this car, the way it can get around corners, is honestly going to be pretty dang good, especially down to the fact that many of the hypercars are sometimes not all that great. Besides all of that though, guys, do let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. Overall, I would say this summit was going to be decently fun. I mean, yeah, it's going to be mainly focused on hypercars. There's 2 slaloms, and let's be real, the rewards are probably going to be terrible. But if you have any questions, do let me know in the comments below. Here's the summit.